Hey there, and welcome to Lesson 4 of Module 6. This lesson topic may make some folks a little nervous when we talk about communication with parents, but as in everything I preach about the classroom, I believe in processes that allow you to focus on what really matters, building relationships with students. Parent communication can aid in that most important task, but systemizing it will allow you to focus on it even more. So in this lesson on communication with parents, here's what we're going to do. To be honest with you, I really don't want you to have to spend a ton of time here, both now and throughout the school year, but it's so important and potentially really effective for many of your students. So let's focus on some systems to help you communicate at the beginning of the year as well as throughout in ways that really don't require a ton of your time. So let's get to it. The best way I know how to communicate to parents about the flipped classroom is to show them exactly what it looks like by giving them a flipped video to watch for themselves. So your biggest take action this week will be to make a set of slides and a video for your parents introducing yourself and your flipped classroom. The parent intro video should not be long, no more than about 5 minutes tops. Parents are busy and they can get the gist quickly, so give it to them. Just the gist, that is. Introduce them to the idea of the flipped classroom, laying out why the flipped classroom is going to help their child be successful. Let them know both your expectations in the flipped classroom as well as materials their students will need outside of headphones. Materials really aren't that different from the traditional classroom. Finally, show your personality, right? That's the benefit in doing a video, and let them know very clearly how they can communicate with you throughout the school year. Both say it and have it up on the screen so it's easily visible. Send the link, maybe a QR code, right, home on something like the course contract or a parent letter, something of that kind. I don't really think you need a parent letter and a video, but you definitely should do one or the other. And it's really up to you. You just want to make sure that you're really clear on your expectations and what the flipped classroom is. My next recommendation is to spend some time in your email provider's contact groups. Now, I'm a lover of all things Google, and their contact groups have actually changed a little bit ago with some newer updates. Contacts is now not necessarily in Gmail, it's in its very own app, and you're going to want to add labels. Let me show you how to do that. So you're going to want to get to the apps launch kind of icon in Google, and you're actually going to click, instead of on Gmail, you're going to click on contacts. What I recommend doing is you're going to want to create a label. And my recommendation would be that you create multiple labels for each of the classes that you teach. So for instance, I'm going to have one label for all of my AP Psychology classes, and then maybe a label for all of my American History classes. Then what I'm going to do is create a label that is for each bell so that I can easily email out all parents of students who are, for instance, in my American History classes, or I can email all the parents in just my first bell. Now, how do you get your contacts in there? As you can see, I don't have any contacts in here yet because this is the newer account of mine. So what I would suggest you do is click on Import Contacts, and you're going to want to select a CSV file in order to do that. Now, you would just select the file after you've saved it from your online gradebook or from your Google spreadsheet that you got from that first day of school Google form that you sent out to either parents or students where you collected those emails. You'll want to kind of tidy up that spreadsheet and make sure that the parent's name is there as well as their email addresses. And then what you can do is go to the Google form. Now, this is just a quick survey that I've sent out to my email list before, but what you want to do is go to the response sheet, and you'll want to click on File, Download As, and then select that CSV, comma separated values is what that stands for. You'll download that as a CSV file. You'll get back to Google Contacts, select the file, and bam, you've got it imported. A really effective way to keep communication avenues truly open without just saying it with parents is to continue to communicate with them regularly, to kind of set up the system to communicate with them in the first place. That way, when you go to call and you have some not great news about their child's effort or performance in your class, that won't be the only thing that you've communicated to them about. I recommend sending out a quarterly newsletter. I've done monthly before, and it just felt like a little too much for me for it to be worth it, right? We're looking for a good return on our investment, and I think sending one out quarterly would do just that. In the PDF guide of this lesson, I've given you a link to a template that you are welcome to make a copy of and make your own. In that first newsletter, which you could send out maybe week 2 of the school year or of your flipped classroom, should have a huge section, if not be almost entirely about important aspects of the flipped classroom. Again, just another way that you're communicating about your class. In that template I provide for you, I give you sections that you can and should keep the same every time. So that way you know what you're looking for. For instance, when you go to take photos in the classroom, and you know what info to consider and include without having to create from scratch and think of new creative ideas every single time. You want to be sure and communicate big aspects of the course, not just fine details, particularly details around those big tests, like the big one that you have at the end of the school year if you're a tested subject. I want to take a moment to caution you about some parent communication you may get about the binder system you're going to be implementing this year. The binder system is awesome. You totally know this. It allows you to have eyes on students' notes every single time without taking days, what seems like weeks, to grade them. However, because of the stamping system with the binder, a parent won't know their child is doing nothing or less than what you or they expect until the end of the unit when grades are entered. So here are some recommendations of how you can communicate around this topic. Be open with them from the beginning of the year. Include a blurb about the binder system and how they won't know how their child is doing as far as effort-wise and work completion until the end of the unit. But there are ways to know outside of like your online gradebook. Parents could be looking at their child's binder and keeping up with your course calendar available on the website. Send them the direct link if possible and explain to them, even if it's in your parent intro video, that you should be expecting a stamp on every single paper in your student's binder. Let them know the value, right? The value of the notes is taking them. So if students miss one, they won't get that 1 point for the grade, but are still getting the content and are way better off for the test. Again, the value of the notes is taking them, not the 1 point grade that's attached to them, right? So just kind of explain that balance of giving a grade, but not really killing grades if they happen to miss one here and there. Finally, push those benefits of flipping. You can easily catch up when they're absent, right? Students can easily catch up when they're absent, taking notes at their own pace. Parents can learn right along with their students if they feel interested or motivated to do so, and the list goes on. Just keep it positive and always remind them of those aspects. In that first unit, you want to put some focus on parent communication this way. So we're going to stop for a second and just talk back to that first unit. If a student does not complete a set of notes, right, in that first unit, your students are getting acclimated to the course. They're doing flip notes for the first time. So if a student does not complete a set of notes on time in that first unit, you should either email or call home for every single one of them. I'm hoping that is not a long to-call list for you because it's the first unit, right? Like, kids are gung-ho. They're not going to miss very many notes. But for every parent you get a hold of, because there will be some students, you're having more impact on making sure that student does their job then for the rest of the school year. So that's a little more upfront work for you. But again, I think you'll see that return on your investment rather quickly. My hope for you is that you can do that in the first unit and then don't have to make those calls for the rest of the year, right? Like that's a huge goal, because seriously, no one has time to call every parent for every single missed set of notes. And that is not my expectation for you. But maybe at the quarter or at the semester end, when you're calling home about those like less than stellar grades, you could let parents know, hey, Sally seems to be struggling to do her notes on time. Do you know why that might be? So again, be strategic with when you're going to kind of make those calls, and don't let it be when they are simply not doing well on the test. Try to let them know if their student is having a bad unit when they're not catching up on notes. Keeping the avenues of communication open with parents is really important. You know this, but it really does help ease parents' nerves when they've never experienced the flipped classroom before. So it's kind of your job to help do that for them. In this lesson, you learn specific techniques on communicating about your flipped classroom and how to keep those communication avenues open throughout the school year. Okay, so your take action piece for this lesson is to make that parent intro video. It really should not be longer than 5 minutes. So I hope that you don't have to spend a lot of time there. Set up your labels, like those groups in your contacts. Use that template that I provided for you and create most of your first newsletter that you want to send out, like within the first month of school. And be ready to contact individual parents in that first unit and then probably at the quarter again. Holy cow, guys, I'm so pumped. We did it, meaning you did it. This was your final lesson in the Flipped Classroom Formula program, and man, you have rocked it. I have one more video for you after this one where we'll really celebrate. When you're ready to bask in the glory of your hard work, click next, and I'll see you there.